I didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. I mean, it's chess in VR. How exciting can it really be? Turns out, really freaking exciting. Merlin's Chess takes a classic game and gives it a fantasy twist where your pieces literally come to life. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. You have to already know chess to enjoy this, right? Well, not really. If you know the basics, you're good. Honestly, even if you're still learning, it's kind of the most fun way to learn because it's so visual and animated. And it's just like if Hogwarts and the Queen's Gambit had a VR baby. If you've ever played chess, even just once, you owe it to yourself to try Merlin's Chess. So let me walk you through it. But before I do, please subscribe to this channel because it takes a lot of time and effort to make this video analysis, and your support means I'll get to make even more of them for you to enjoy. And thank you so much, Merlin's Chess team, for sponsoring this video. The absolute star of this game is the fantasy piece set. Sure, you can still play with traditional wooden pieces if you want, but I think they're for purists who want the classic feel. But flip to the fantasy mode and the game becomes a different beast. Well, literally. Every chess piece transforms into a strange and creepy fantasy creature, and the best part, they animate. When a piece takes another, you get a full little battle animation. There's something really satisfying about seeing your strategy play out in a full-blown magical clash. It instantly reminded me of that scene in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You know the one when Ron commands the wizard chess pieces like a general and they just destroy each other on the board. Merlin's Chess kinda captures that same energy. Of course, these pieces look very different from traditional ones, but hovering over fantasy pieces shows a simplified traditional chess icon. So that means that if you're not sure which fantasy creature is your knight or your rook, the game gives you a quick, clean visual hint. I only wish that also worked if you hovered over your opponent pieces too, because when you're facing off against someone else's fantasy army, it can be a little bit tricky to tell what's what at first glance. Now, if you're going to play this game, please do yourself a favor and pick the arena environment. Yes, there is a cozy living room setup too, so if you want a more grounded vibe, you can play that, but the arena is where this game truly shines. Here's what happens. Your regular chessboard is still in front of you, but right there in front of you is the massive animated version of the same board, and every move you make gets reflected there with giant fantasy pieces or even regular pieces, depending on which ones you pick, clashing right there in their massive scale. And it feels like you're directing an army in front of a crowd, watching an epic war play out one move at a time, and it generally made the game feel grand. And that's not something I would ever expect to say about chess. Now, one of my favorite features is voice control. You can literally say your moves out loud and your pieces just obey.
D7 on D6.
It's a small touch, but it adds so much immersion and honestly convenience. There's just something about saying your move with intention and watching it play out that just feels powerful. A little dramatic, sure, but that's kind of the point. Even cooler is that voice commands don't just stop at gameplay. You can use them for settings too. For example, you can adjust volume.
Volume down. Volume up.
It's a bit slow but very reliable, and it really leans into the whole hands-free wizard strategist vibe that the game is going for. Here's something subtle that I absolutely loved: the undo feature. After making a move, you've got a short window, like 5 seconds by default, where you can undo your move. Whether you made a mistake or you just changed your mind, this little grace period is a lifesaver, and it's also customizable, so you can make it longer or shorter or disable it completely, whichever you prefer. I played primarily against the AI, as this is early access version, and you can choose their difficulty, which is great for learning. But since this is early days for the game, the voice of the AI was a bit generic and repetitive, and the animations didn't really match what was happening on the board. It didn't ruin anything because the AI difficulty is the most important thing, but aesthetically, it kind of made me want to play against a real opponent instead. That said, the game does support online multiplayer, including ranked matchmaking, casual matches, and even a spectator mode where you can jump into other people's games and just watch the chaos unfold there. If the player base grows, that could become a real social hub for VR chess fans. There's also chess.com integration, and the game is supported by chess.com. You can connect your account there to access extra features, and the fact that the platform like chess.com supports this game is a really good sign for its future. Of course, this game is not perfect. After all, when I played it, it was still unreleased and in early access, so So here's a few things that I've noticed. First, the lack of animations for traditional chess pieces. It kind of felt like a missed opportunity. Even just a basic knockoff motion when one piece captures another would make a big difference. Right now, the traditional pieces just sort of disappear when captured, and that feels a little bit underwhelming, especially when I'm playing in the arena and see them in this full scale. Animation would make it so much cooler. Second, I've mentioned that the AI dialogue gets repetitive fast, and it kind of lacks connection to the actual gameplay and makes the battles feel a little more generic. Hopefully future updates will improve this with more dynamic voice lines or at least some variety. And lastly, while the animations are gorgeous, the pacing can be a little bit slow. The dramatic movements are cool, of course, but after a while you kind of find yourself wishing that there was a speed up animations option, especially during longer matches. A toggle or slider for animation speed would be a smart addition. Alright, so here's my verdict. What makes Merlin's chess different from other VR chess games? First, the animated pieces of cool fantasy creatures, and I'm sure more will be added to customize your game even more. Second, the magical environments. The arena environment is superb. Voice commands is amazing too. And finally, the social features. Voice chat, customizable avatars, a friend system. It's not just a solo experience. You can build your little chess circle here and just hang out. So, would I recommend Merlin's chess? If you like chess, that's an easy yes. If you like fantasy setting, also yes. If you like competitive games that don't rely on reflexes, absolutely yes. It's niche, sure, not everyone's gonna jump into a VR chess game, but if you're the kind of person who gets excited about strategy and magic, and even if you're new to chess, honestly this might be the most fun way to start learning it. I went in expecting just chess, but in VR, and I came out feeling like I just played a magical war game. Merlin's chess just got released today, and it's available now. If you try it, let me know what you think, and may your pawns be brave and your queens merciless. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.